Hello, BookTube. I have a bit of mail for you today on a stubbornly chilly Friday. Not accustomed to this at all in Boston. It's supposed to be 60 degrees. I mean, after all, it's the end of December. But nevertheless, it's chilly outside. Definitely chilly, but beautiful. I don't think we're scheduled here to get even the chance of precipitation for well over a week. So it'll just be calm, clear, bright weather. And we've got some mail here. I don't know how much mail, how much more mail is coming for Christmas. But let's take a look at this first one here. Let's see what we have. What is this? Okay. Wow, lots and lots of author events. Who would have thought that authors did events anymore? So this comes out in late January. This is by Marie Helene Bertino, and it is called Beautyland. Did we see this already? A wise, tender novel about a woman who doesn't feel at home on Earth. At the moment when Voyager 1 is launched into space carrying its famous golden record, a baby of unusual perception is born to a single mother in Philadelphia. Adina is tiny and jaundiced, but reaches for warmth and light. As a child, she recognizes that she is different. She possesses knowledge of a faraway planet. The arrival of a fax machine enables her to contact her extraterrestrial relatives, beings who have sent her to report on the oddities of Earthlings. For years, as she moves through the world and makes a life for herself among humans, she dispatches transmissions on the terrors and surprising joys of their existence. Then, at a precarious moment, a beloved friend urges Adina to share her messages with the world. Is there a chance she is not alone? Okay, so science fiction. What leads me to think? Why do I get the impression that this author would not only object, but try to sue me if I called this science fiction? Why is that? Why am I getting that impression? I'm getting very Margaret Atwood feels here about a carpetbagger in the genre. Great. Well, fantastic. This comes out in January. I have to hope. I'm not going to look at the author's biography, but I have to hope that this is not just an elaborate plot ruse in order to conduct the culture war. Little Adina is bemused. She is mystified by certain aspects of human behavior and finds other aspects of human behavior praiseworthy. Is the dividing line between those two things and the things that gives each one of those its shape going to be the author's personal Twitter politics? I don't know. I have no idea. Well, we'll find out. January. It's contemporary fiction, though, so let's push on and see if we can find something. Although none of these packages is big, so this next one is really cool. So there might be a chance that this is all fiction, or even worse, poetry. Let's give it a try. Let's forge on bravely. This next one is March. Oh, right. Okay, the publicist contacted me about this. This is by Adam Phillips, and it's called On Giving Up. Something that Gen Z knows very well. So what have we got here? To give up or not to give up? Not give up. Anyway, the question can feel inescapable, but the answer is never simple. The answer is not give up. Pretty simple. Giving up our supposed vices is one thing. Giving up on life itself is quite another. Yes, one makes sense and one is cowardly. One form of self-sacrifice feels positive, something to admire and aspire to, while the other is profoundly unsettling, if not actively undesirable. It's not self-sacrifice to get rid of an addiction. You're going to feel better. There's no sacrifice involved. You're going to feel better when you do that. There are always, it turns out, both good and bad sacrifices, but it is not always clear beforehand which is which. Okay. If it's not clear to you beforehand which is which, then perhaps you didn't go to the bother of having a Jesuit education. It's actually very easy to tell which is which. We give something up because we believe we can no longer go on as we are. In this sense, giving up is a critical moment, an attempt to make a different future. In this book, the acclaimed psychoanalyst Adam Phillips illuminates both the gaps and the connections between the many ways of giving up, helps us and it helps us to address the central question: what must we give up in order to feel more alive? Okay, all right, okay, all right. This comes out in March. I'm going to guess that this is a long, long book about Adam Phillips trying and failing to quit smoking. I'm going to guess that that's what this book is entirely about. I'd be willing to bet that nowhere in its length, this is what, 100 pages? So what are you, darling? You're 130 pages soaking wet. I'd be willing to bet that nowhere in here is that struggle ever mentioned. I'm sure the smoking will come up, but not his failure. And a book-length rationalization of why that, might be a turning point. I might be able to learn something from this. We'll see. Let's hope I'm wrong. We'll do this next one here. What is this next one? Oh, fantastic! All right, this is the New York Review of Books. I don't usually get their books. I don't usually get things from them. This comes out in March. This is A Chance Meeting by Rachel Cohen. Encounters between American artists and writers. A chance meeting, and this is not somebody clearing out the cobwebs. This is actually an advanced copy. That's great. Well, I'd love to get more of these. They're coming out with translation of a Russian classic that, oh my, I'm very excited about it. Already beating the drums, trying to get people to review it, trying to consider getting people to review it. But this is not something I knew about. When did A Chance Meeting come out? Do I know this book? Maybe under a different cover? 2004? I don't know if I do or not. Let's see here. In 1854, a young Henry James goes with his father to have a daguerreotype made by Matthew Brady, and is captured in a moment of extreme self-consciousness. Brady, a rare moment for James of extreme self-consciousness. Brady goes on to make the photographs of the American Civil War that completely enrapture the photographer Richard Avedon. Meanwhile, Gertrude Stein, a student of William James's, attends a performance of The Rite of Spring with Carl Van Vechten. Van Vechten invites Zora Neale Hurston over for breakfast. Hurston embarks on a road trip with Langston Hughes. James Baldwin, who went to high school with Avedon, writes a devastating review of Hughes's collected poems. Norman Mailer meets Baldwin at a Paris party, and Mailer and Robert Lowell march on the Pentagon in the anti-Vietnam War demonstration of 1967. Oh my God. You aren't going to do this for the whole book, are you? Good. Such are some of the serendipitous real-world encounters that Rachel Cohen brings to life in her dazzling nonfiction debut, A Chance Meeting. Some? You're going to do more? Through 36 interconnected chapters. Cohen weaves a shimmering tapestry of friendship, rivalries, reconciliations, and love affairs between 30 of the greatest living artists, or literary and artistic minds, spanning the Civil War to the Civil Rights Movement. Okay. Drawing extensively from autobiographies, notebooks, diaries, novels, letters, poems, and photographs, she provides a wealth of intriguing and insightful detail about the intersecting lives of such luminaries as Mark Twain, Willa Cather, W.E. Du Bois, Elizabeth Bishop, Marcel Duchamp. Cohen is keenly aware of the limits of what can be known about the past. Interested in affording the reader, quote, the pleasure of moving back and forth between what is known and what can only be imagined. Okay. All right. Okay. Well, A Chance Meeting. I don't remember the description of this thing, so I'm not sure that I ever read it. Needless to point out, I'll point out the obvious for you here, but you're paying attention anyway, that half the meetings that were described in that pub sheet were not chance meetings. But this, I mean, when you're organizing a book around such an easily tiresome gimmick as this, as simple propinquity, it's a lot is going to come down to the execution, to how good this is. I don't remember ever reading this. I'll have to check, see if I ever did. It's so visual for me. When I see the cover of the original 2004 version, I'll probably know. But a lot of you are interested in the New York Review of Books. I can honestly second that, even though they don't often come out with books that I really like. They do have genuine, energetic minds behind their choices. This is not an editorial team that's on autopilot. I never see a new release of theirs without thinking, okay, I'm really glad that you did that. Not for myself. It's not a book that I like, not an author that I like, but I'm really glad that you're putting this out there. And also, they have become a kind of cachet in the reviewing world. They don't just come out with these reprints. A lot of times these reprints command attention. a reviewer or a staff writer for somewhere will say, I have been waiting for a chance to write about this. Now there's a new edition. There's a reason for me to. Will you let me do 2,000 words? It's purely a good thing that they do in the literary world. It would be incredibly myopic of me to say it's not simply because they're not printing the stuff I like. That would be extremely wrong. I love what they do, and this could easily be enjoyable. And then we'll do this last one. All these things with Skinny. All these things together were only one of the books that I got yesterday. But Skinny books have their worth too. Not much worth, but we'll see. We'll see what we have here. What is this next one? Surely. Okay. What are you? What are you? What are you? Okay. All right. This is by Ray Naylor. It's from the folks at Tor, which is great. And it is called The Tusks of Extinction. There they are, presumably, the Tusks of Extinction. In January of 2024, right around the corner, critically acclaimed award-winning author Ray Naylor will release The Tusks of Extinction. At once a sci-fi thriller and a thought-provoking piece of eco-fiction. It shares much of its DNA with Jurassic Park in a story that ruminates on human consciousness and our ecological legacy. Moscow has resurrected the mammoth. Well, one particular group of scientists has been promising to resurrect the mammoth for a long time now, and they keep bumping past the date. They keep saying, well, we're ready in a couple of years, we'll be ready in no more than 5 years, and they keep pushing it down the line. But someone must teach them how to be mammoths, or they are doomed to die out again, and that's where Dr. Damira Krishmatulina comes in, an elephant expert and a brilliant scientist during her lifetime. Dr. Krishmatulina was murdered while working to protect the last elephants from the horrors of the ivory trade. Okay, so are elephants dead in this world? African and Asian elephants, are they dead in this world? Well, of course, it's not going to matter. No one can teach a woolly mammoth how to be a woolly mammoth. You're going to have to hope that some of that information somehow mystically is in the genome, but considering the fact that these things are going to have to be brought to term in the womb of an African elephant, I think what you're going to get, if this particular group that is trying to de-extinct the woolly mammoth, if they ever actually do succeed, what you're going to get is a woolly African elephant. There's no way that you're ever going to know how close it is to what a woolly mammoth was like. Anyway, now Dr. Krishmatulina's digitized consciousness is uploaded into the mind of the matriarch of a resurrected mammoth herd. Oh my. All right, I just became interested. Interesting that she also is resurrected. She also is de-extincted. She has a digitized consciousness. In this new form, faced with not only acclimating to inhabiting a 3-ton body, but also... Okay. Did they only resurrect the matriarch's head? She would be 10 tons, not 3 tons. But also finding a new place for mammoths in the world they left behind thousands of years ago. Oh, God. In Mongolia alone, there's enormous amounts of space. You could easily... Finding space for woolly mammoths in the present-day world is not the problem at all. The problem is that they won't be woolly mammoths. They'll be science experiments. But finding space for them, for the kind of animal that they are, the kind of foraging that they do, not hard at all. Dr. Krishmatulina also finds herself in a war against poachers after mammoth ivory. And she must save the herd not only from the poachers, but from her own past and the people who brought mammoths back in the first place. Okay. Ray Naylor has developed a reputation of excellence through his science fiction short stories and his critically acclaimed novel, The Mountain in the Sea. The Mountain in the Sea. Did we see that on this channel? Was that the weird squid novel? I seem to remember that it was. If that's what I'm thinking of, I really enjoyed it. This book continues his emergence in the science fiction genre, as well as his literary exploration of humankind's connection to the natural world, making Naylor a rising new voice in eco-fiction. Well, it's a squeak of a voice, because this is 60 pages long. It's the story of the digitized consciousness of an elephant scientist and an elephant crusader being loaded into the brain, the mind, of a genetically resurrected woolly mammoth in the present day. I could think of a couple of ways to get that past 60 pages. I wouldn't want to tire you or anything, but nevertheless. Uh, okay, so there you go. The Tusks of Extinction. A novella is what this is. I don't really care. It's not really my job to care how Tor is marketing this thing. This is a novella that is almost certainly not going to have a novella price. Shall we check and see? Are you ready? Are you sitting down? $25. This is $27, $26.99. This is $27 in hardcover for a 60-page book, for a 60-page story. That's highway robbery. I'm sorry to the folks at Tor, but that's highway robbery. So for something you're going to read in 20 minutes? Anyway, still not a bad mail haul. As far as mail hauls go, I might be feeling a little contentious, but we don't have many mail hauls left to do together in 2023. So this was pretty interesting. We have a wee tiny thing of science fiction, wee tiny thing. Just the process of describing and character reactions to the fact that the human consciousness can now be digitized. Just that is this long. The parts of the book that tell you what we currently know about the ecology of woolly mammoths, just that is this long. Descriptions of the characters themselves, their conflicts. Are any of them actually poachers? Do all of them want it to succeed? What happens? And also the descriptions of what the main character feels like when she's walking around in her mammoth body. Anyway, then A Chance Meeting by Rachel Cohen. Do any of you actually know this book? Did any of you actually encounter it when it came out originally? Then Adam Phillips on Giving Up. Is there ever a time when we can learn from giving up? Is there ever a time, I don't know, under any particular circumstance that you could name by, maybe it might be philosophically wrong to give up? Any chance that might be true? Any chance that we can make philosophy give us an excuse? I don't know. What does it mean to give something up? Yeah, I wonder how interested this book is and how disinterested it is. And then Beautyland. So we start and stop with science fiction, which is fairly interesting. A young woman who her whole life has felt that she is not actually human, and it turns out with the advent of the fax machine, she figures out that maybe that is true, and maybe she's not alone. Wonderful if it's science fiction. If it is a protracted, ham-handed, leaden-booted allegory for the trans experience, not wonderful. But we will see. I'm not going to read any of these things. They're all 2024 releases. But now you know about them, so you can put them on the list. If you have a long wait in the dentist's office, might want to pick a novel, not a short story. But that's the mail for today. More mail might come today, but I think this will be it for the mail haul, because my Brattle book haul today was a bit on the long side. So I'll wrap this up for now, but I'll be back. Thank you, BookTube.